But let's now shift focus to the National Logistics Policy, which was announced on Saturday by the Prime Minister, which is aiming for a seamless movement of goods. It's obviously going to bring down logistics costs to about 9% of the GDP from the current 13%, and it's going to bring it at par with countries like China, promoting logistics infrastructure, transparency, compliance, and of course, ease of doing business as well. But let's try and understand what does it really spell for individual companies and how is it going to really benefit them. Chander Agarwal, MD at TCI Express, joins in on the show, and we also have with us Mr. V.S. Parthasarthy, VC at Allcargo Logistics, joining in on the show right now. Gentlemen, both of you, good morning. Great to have you both on the show. Mr. Parthasarthy, if I could really start off with you first, clearly a game changer of a policy, but wanted to understand whether or not in the very near term, do you see any benefits accrue?
Yeah, thank you very much. Always happy to be on the show at ET Now. Coming to your question, first and foremost is if you look at what had happened last time was Gati Shakti, PM Gati Shakti was unveiled. It is like an enterprise management system for an organization. The basic, right from getting customer orders to executing them, there needs to be network and other impact which was done, but it leaves an enterprise management system on an overall basis, ERP, and connected ones needed to be done. So what the new policy does, and maybe I'm going into something which your channel has dealt in great detail, but just so that for a minute, just to get an understanding, they've kind of tried to link what the different ministries would be doing, how they can come together, how state and center can come together, how industries can come together across sector, and within the chain overall, how we can integrate more. And this is what is the thrust of this policy. It's trying to give an whole overall ecosystem to what is India as an organization. And I believe in the GDP growth that we are foreseeing. This is not just an enabler, this is a catalyst. So I'm looking forward to with great amount of thing how this unfolds and start to benefit. The near-term benefits you asked me, and I must say that near-term benefits come because they know there is a path. And therefore, the collaborations will be much more both within the industry and with the government. And that should give an impetus to the logistic industry as well. And as some of these things start getting implemented, the impetus will only become larger. So short term, based on like stock market, we see the future being bright. So the present should reflect that in price.
Mr. Agarwal, the policy is like a framework which talks about bringing the logistics cost down, bringing the cost of logistics down, let me put it this way. How will that be done is the question. Is this more like an intention but hard to implement?
And I think what is noticeable is that, first of all, the kind of bureaucracy that used to happen or still happens in silos in India, that is changing. It is going away. And that is bringing us to the next level of the IT integration and, the ministries merging together. And of course, then you have the road infrastructure being built, the ports being built. So I think it's a two-handed approach which is going on together, which is the basic thing which is needed, or the foundation for bringing down the logistics cost. Most importantly, we have to know that the logistics cost can actually come down by the cost of fuel. Ultimately, that is the target. However, if the foundation which was missing is not there of the IT integration with the ministries and the different operational parts of the logistics in the country, once that is done, the next step would be to kind of like see how to really manage the fuel cost and bring that down. So yes, ultimately it will bring down the logistics cost.
Mr. Parthasarthy, what will change in next 12 months what will change in next 24 months, and what will incrementally change in next 36 months? Assuming that a reboot button has been pressed, how quickly the wheels will be in motion?
Good question. Okay. And I'm also looking for, answers as we go along. Okay. So what I'm doing is now a guesswork, and don't hold me to it, but this is my hope. Okay. First and foremost, in the 12 months, the first set of digital things should start coming. The physical asset standardization, getting a little bit of benchmark quality should be a thing which should happen. The parks, which is the what is that logistic parks, should and getting private investment into that should see a lot more impetus, and that will be physically starting to happen in the next 12 months. The state kind of bringing and coming to the party, and then there being a jugalbanti between center and state should become a reality in 12 months. uh, and the integrated digital logistics system, the backbone should be laid in the next 12 months. Yeah. So this, I think, is the and the resource planning should start. So this should be the 12-month. If you look at 24 months, you say that many of this will start to see fruition, and year 3 we should start seeing overall logistic cost come down by a meaningful amount, and our ease of doing business in the logistics sector, and the our climbing into the targets that has been set, that logistic performance index, we should be among the top 25, may not be 25 by in next 3 years, should be some significant improvement in that. And data driven economy should clearly be a possibility by that time. That's the kind of targets that I would set.
Mr. Agarwal, would there be any fear of more competition threatening market share of the company, new entrants entering, and that would be a bit of a concern?
Well, I always welcome new competition. It's because of them we can learn how to, improve ourselves and continue. We've been in logistics business for 65 years and plus. So we kind of we've seen how the landscape of India has changed and is changing. So it's good to see that if competition is coming in, and they're bringing in new ideas, So, but I do not see much of the shakeup happening at this point, because it's already very competitive. Companies which have large amounts of money also are not able to perform. So it's a difficult market, and yeah. So I do not foresee any new entrants coming in. Of course, in the unorganized segment, there's probably a new entrant every day. So.
Very much, gentlemen, for joining in, giving us a lot more clarity as to what exactly the new logistics policy means. It's not an enabler, it's a catalyst, as it was well